Hello. That was really annoying. Like, really annoying. Like, my whole internet went out for no reason. Like, already irritated. Now I have to share everything all over again. I don't understand how, like, Morg can go live and then just, like, stop the stream and then start back where the stream left off. But I have to start, like, a whole new stream. Like, and I've already, like, looked at several settings. Like, there's nowhere that enables that. So, I have no idea what's going on. Sorry, just an annoyance. But now I have to share, like, reshare everything all over again. I have to go over to Twitter. I have to delete my previous posts. I have to go over to Facebook and I have to delete the post there and repost that. Let's see. Go to my profile. Delete the tweet. Well, I guess I don't have to. I guess I can just, like... I can delete the comment to the tweet that I left. Delete. Delete. Post. Assuming the correct one is posted now. Yes, 8 seconds. And now I'm going to go over. I guess we can have our music back. And this is all Cassie's fault because the moment Cassie was like, I can't hear you, the whole stream fucked up. Everybody blame Cassie. Like, literally, the moment Cassie's just like, I can't hear you. Like, you know? And I even felt, I'm like, what the fuck? Cassie's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, this is what happens when you curse the stream with your criticism. I have to fix everywhere that I see. That's the other thing that I hate too about when my internet goes out. Like, I have to go back to all the places I shared the stream, and I have to re-share it over again and delete the old shares because it's like, it really fucks with the engagement too. Hello? Sorry. The internet is so slow right now. Holy shit, what is happening? Good to see everybody, by the way. I've already said hello to the majority of you, but I suppose we shall do it again right now. Hello, Mark. Good to see you, Mark. Hello, Altier. Hello, Renaissance Fairy. Hello, Lee. Hello, Hand of Doom. Shadow Dragon. Your name is too long. You should shorten that. You don't have to. I'm just saying, like, I don't know whether to call you Hand of Doom or Shadow Dragon. Call you Hands for short? I don't know. Can we get like a one syllable like nickname here? Doom? Do I just call you Doom? I wonder where Thoth the Atlantean went. I have a bone to pick with him. He's been doing this habit lately where he just pops into streams, says something catty, and then immediately leaves. If you want some gossip, I got some gossip for you. Anyways, today we have some interesting topics. We just got two main ones. First, we have Andrew Tate and Ben Shapiro that have apparently been butting heads, which is very hilarious to me. And then Kyle Rittenhouse is playing the victim, and it's just funny because, like, at this point, his sort of, like, claim to fame and, like, his little few minutes of fame right now, they're wearing down, and it's going to get really ugly for him at the end of this year. And it's already ugly for him now because the dumbass keeps touring around colleges explaining just to talk about, like, how he's brave. And it hasn't been well recepted. Music anymore. Where did that go? Do I still have access to that? No, I don't have access to the preview anymore. I swear to God that, like, never mind. Wow, all these windows are opening up and I don't even want them. Kate is your name. Okay, thank you. That is so much better. Calling you Kate is so much better. Anyways. Alright, I am no longer annoyed. Assuming my internet will stay on and not, like, go out for no reason. Are we ready to get going? I think we are. I think we should just dive right into it. I think we should just go there. So, apparently, Ben Shapiro has spoken out a couple of days ago about Andrew Tate, which is interesting because I believe previously mentioning Andrew Tate, like, a few years ago, he wasn't necessarily supportive, but he wasn't, like, unsupportive. What was like past Ben Shapiro? Was it this right here? Ugh, why is my throat getting, like, dry and tickly? Like, I want to cough forever. Like, I'm not doing anything. I swear to God, Ben Shapiro was speaking not, like, super fondly of Andrew Tate, but, like, not necessarily against him. But so I find it just, like, really amusing that he's suddenly Like, Andrew Tate is the worst. It's like, why? Why suddenly are you, like, not happy? Hello, MC. Yes, we're back. That was very annoying. That, like, almost soured my mood. I'm not even gonna lie. But the only reason I'm recovering from it is because it was within, like, the first 10 minutes of streaming. And we can just start over and I can erase everything. But I think we didn't really miss anything. I think I was just talking about, I was asking everybody how your week was going, and then I was talking about, like, my week, but then that's when Cassie was like, I can't hear you. So it's like, now I'm not going to tell you about my week all over again, okay? If you didn't hear it before, you'll never hear it. It goes off into the ether. Like, why is my throat, like, tightening up? Nope, start from the top. Oh, fuck that. We're just gonna jump right in. Alright, let's talk about this. Let's see. Let's go. Why is he just, like... I don't know. That beard just looks... I'm trying to be charitable. I mean, can I be charitable? No. The eyebrows just look like, they still look like caterpillars. I'm so sorry to hear about your daughter, Kate. That sucks.
There are a few things in life where if somebody tells you...
Oh, I have to turn this up because Cassie told me to turn it down. I'm joking, Cassie.
Those things, you know 100% that they are a grifter. They are a con man. They are trying to con you into something. The most obvious...
I'm sorry. Is Ben Shapiro trying to, like, tell me about how grifters are bad? Isn't Ben Shapiro himself a grifter?
There are a few things in life where if somebody tells you those things, you know 100% that they are a grifter. They are a con man. They are trying to con you into something. The most obvious sign of a con artist is somebody who's telling you that a well-known, well-worn truth, something that is absolutely irrefutable, is not true. They know better. They know better because they've seen through the matrix. They've seen through that truth. That truth is actually a mask for the underlying reality. Now,
Ben, you don't use those words exactly, but you do these things. Literally. Like, you coin yourself as somebody who cuts through bullshit and delivers truth. Like, that you are a source of truth. You think your whole show is a source of truth. You think the Daily Wire is a source of truth. So what the fuck? Why would you have an issue with other people doing the same thing? I think he's just trying to get brownie points at this time.
it may be that there are some widely held notions that are untrue. But in order to debunk those notions, you would actually have to show why your notions are better. However, if you are the kind of person who suggests, for example, that hard work is useless, I have a better way. That better way is going to earn you fast money without a lot of work, without getting yourself educated, without putting in the hours, without developing a skill set. That person is conning you. They are lying to you. If somebody were to tell you, for example, that there is an easy way for you to get absolutely fit with no exercise and eating trash, that person would be lying to you. That person would be conning you because obviously you need to eat healthy and do exercise if you want to be in shape. And the biggest one of all, and this has been held true by pretty much every griftery movement of the last couple of centuries, is the idea that you should not get married, that marriage is bad for you, that somehow marriage is going to ruin your life. Now, there are a lot of problems with the current legal structure of marriage. I agree with that critique of the current legal structure of marriage. No-fault divorce is one of the worst things that ever happened to Western civilization. Marriage is a commitment.
I mean, is it that because, like, Ben thinks of himself as, like, a traditional man, and, like, Andrew Tate, to some capacity, like, obviously isn't? Is that what his grift
commitment is lifelong.
Because Ben's just as much of a grifter as Andrew is. He just does it in a completely different way with a different style. Like, but it's all the same, like, right-wing grift shit. Like, it's all tied to that sort of, like, demographic.
There should actually have to be a really, really, really good reason why you are divorcing, and that's particularly true if you have children, because, of course, marriage is designed as the fundamental...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro is one of those guys who's, like, down for taking away no-fault divorce. As in, like, you're able to get divorced without any, like, if you just want to get a divorce, you can't. I think that's the side Ben Shapiro is in. Where anybody who doesn't want to be a part of a marriage anymore, like, should have the right to just divorce. But there's motions of, like, the right-wing grift to be like, no, you shouldn't have no-fault divorce. You should be forced to stay with your partner, even if you don't like it. Unless they're a physical danger to you, you have to stay. Don't give the Matrix a shout-out. No, Andrew Tate's all about the Matrix.
Mental building block of institutional society. It is the place where children are reared. It is the place where you produce children in the first place, and children require stability. It is from those fundamental building blocks of civilization, the little platoons, as Edmund Burke called them, that you can actually build a functional, free civilization, which is why every griftery movement of the last couple of centuries has assaulted the family from the outside. So, for example, Karl Marx, very big on assaulting the family. The Communist Manifesto famously suggests abolition of the family. Why?
I don't think that's... But what do I know? I'm not a fucking communist. And I'm not a Marxist. So it's like, I'm pretty sure if you read that shit, that's not precisely what it's saying. It probably just means, I don't know. I have nothing to talk about that. Or say to that. I'm not a Marxist. I'm not a communist.
Because the family is a place where you might learn bourgeois values. It's a place where you might be inculcated into things like responsibility, duty, church. These are all very bad things, according to the Marxist movement. Which is why
I'm not sure about that. Like, I know I don't know enough to, like, say I don't think so. And plus, it's coming from Ben Shapiro. And I don't trust him, like, as far as I can throw him. Which is actually saying something interesting, because I bet your ass I can throw him pretty far.
Communist Manifesto says, on what foundation is the present family, the bourgeois family, based? On capital, on private gain. In its completely developed form, this family exists only among the bourgeois. But this state of things finds its complement in the practical absence of the family among the proletarians and in public prostitution. And so blowing up the...
Okay, but what does this have to do with Andrew Tate? Because Andrew Tate is not a communist, and Andrew Tate doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit. So how is he, like, taking Andrew Tate... And going into, like, a whole thing about Marxism. Like, already I'm really confused. I'm so glad I don't watch Ben Shapiro on a regular. I mean, I wouldn't, but, like, just watching him this much is hurting my head. Like, honestly, like, I don't know how he got to this. How did he get from Andrew Tate to, like, Marxism and Marxism's criticism on the family unit? What, because Andrew Tate doesn't really advocate for family? Well, he's not really... Andrew Tate is definitely not a Marxist, and is definitely not a communist. So I don't get where this is going. But hey, what do I know?
The family would allow for a better world. Don't get married. Fight the fight. Blow up the traditional institutions that actually support a functional society, and fight the fight. This is also why today the New York Times has an entire article titled Lessons from the 20-Person Polycule. Because the New York Times also...
This is ridiculous. Let's see. What is the Marxist idea of, like, marriage? Like, because maybe I just, like... Marxist idea of marriage. Mirage. Marx was not opposed to either the family or marriage. He just felt that such institutions would probably become freer, more flexible, and more open to the free choices and desires of its members, rather than governed by strict social rules and expectations. See, that's kind of like more along the lines of what I'm thinking is going on here. Like, I don't think that's against family unit, and I think it's just against the idea of like the capitalist government's idea of what a family is, where family is seen as like an absolute must necessity, whereas it sounds like, just from this top description, which isn't much, obviously, it's just a couple sentences, but it's just like, it should be something that you go into for choice, not as a societal expectation. Marx married his childhood sweetheart, Jenny von Westphalen. He also took a close and traditional interest in the marriages of his daughters, Jenny and Laura, to both Frenchmen. And that was something about monogamous marriage, something about, I don't know. I'm just not interested in that. All I know is that Ben Shapiro is full of shit. Especially when it comes to, like, explaining ideologies that are complete opposites of what he holds dear. Marx says Abraham Lincoln kept a long letter-writing correspondence with Karl Marx and largely agreed with Marxism. That's interesting. God, why is my throat so dry? I'm like chugging this root beer. Like, relax. 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 The only problem is like, I'm chugging this root beer to, like, stop from coughing. And now I have to pee again. Let's at least hold off until the end of this little section. And by the way, this thing with Ben Shapiro only goes to like maybe about 30 minutes. It's not this whole thing. Like, we're not watching this whole hour thing. Like, it's only just part of this that's about Andrew Tate. And then we're going to take a look at Andrew Tate's response. This shit's funny, honestly. Ben Shapiro, who is there's Ben Shapiro, and then there's Andrew Tate. And you have both of them with some sort of idea of that men should be men and manly men. And you know, they're like activists, like men activists, but like masculine activists or whatever, in kind of like their own way, but yet they're sort of like opposites, because Ben is definitely not the ideal looking man that he always upholds. Andrew Tate is more visually appealing in that sense to that idea. I don't think he's attractive at all, but you know, at least he's like physically fit and this and that and whatever, rich. I mean, so Ben still looks like a child. He doesn't really look like the masculine, manly man that he tries to hold dear and promote. So it's interesting to see like similar people who I would kind of put to the same side, but then see them like butting heads and be completely opposites of each other. But like, why is Ben going on about a 20-person polycule by Daniel Bergner? Like, what is this? What Ben wants? Is Ben tired of his monogamous marriage?
Don't get married. Fight the fight. Blow up the traditional institutions that actually support a functional society and fight the fight. This is also why today the New York Times has an entire article titled Lessons from the 20-Person Polycule. Because the New York Times also wishes to destroy the fundamental basis of Western...
This is jumping. Like, yo, we went from Andrew Tate to, like, Marxist to, like, now a 20-person polycule.
Civilization, namely the family. And they wish to do this because they wish to build something new atop the ruins. They wish to create a society of atomized individuals who then can be molded and shaped according to the whims of the New York Times. Because once you're isolated from other human beings, once you have no duty to your family, once you have no duty to kids, once you have no duty to the community that is built upon those families, well, then we can militarize you in any possible direction, which is why you've seen so many left-wing outlets lately pushing for polyamory in the same way that the communists.
I'm just sitting here imagining, like, people who actually enjoy Ben Shapiro, like, thinking this is really intelligent. Being smarter than the average bear is not saying a lot. I mean, it's good, right? Like, but the average bear is a fucking moron. So, like, you get your average bear watching this shit, and it's like, wow, this seems intelligent. My throat is really bugging me. It just got, like, super dry out of nowhere. Like, it's constantly stuck at that part where I'm just about to cough. Like, I don't know what's going on. And it's, like, tight. Like, is it me? Am I the drama?
Manifesto once pushed for polyamory and the holding of all sexes in common. So, for example, today, the New York Times says, quote, the word polycule is a synthesis of polyamory, engaging multiple romantic relationships and molecule. It's not clear when the word was coined, but it seems.
I don't think Ben should. The last person you need to be learning about polyamorous relationships and polycules is Ben Shapiro. Like, there are so many, like, actual, like, polysexuals or whatever that, like, polysexuals. But there are tons of people in those types of relationships that, like, have a lot of, like, in-depth knowledge and study and introspection to, like, how those can work for some people who that works for. But listening to Ben Shapiro explain polyamory, like, you're never gonna get, like, the right idea of it. Like, polyamory already has, like, a bad rep anyways. I would like to think I'm polyamorous, but, like, I also haven't dated in for fucking, like, years, and I have no interest in dating now, so I'm like, I don't think I'm anything. I don't think I'm monogamous or polyamorous. Like, I'm not Enneus. I'm not Enneus, okay? I'm just not dating, so.
Seems to have started catching on around 15 years ago to suggest an intricate structure formed of people with overlapping deep attachments, romantic, sexual, sensual, platonic. It's difficult to describe a polycule. Words like family and network are used, but neither on its own captures it. Perhaps it's best left to a polycule to offer descriptions. These are the voices and images of people who are part of a polycule in the Boston area. Katie says the polycule is like this weird family. Anne says, it's a chosen family. It works like complex kinship networks work. Only a little kinkier. It reflects radical queer values. Well, I mean, of course it does. Of course it does. Because the basic idea of the left...
Not the Q word!
...that every single person is basically a malleable widget violating the strictures of the evil society, right? This is part of the big con. The big con is the idea that there are things like gender roles, and these gender roles are rooted in biology. But if you can see through that immutable truth, then you will have destroyed the Matrix. This is the perspective of the left, and this is why...
No. Why does Ben Shapiro seem like, I don't know, like this is like he's still like a freshman in college or something?
Why they fight the family. This is also why children have basically become, to this group of people, a tote bag. It's something that you occasionally have in order to manipulate in a particular form or fashion. But this is not restricted to the left. The attack on the family is not, unfortunately, restricted to the political.
Okay, so now we come to the end of the shrubbery maze, which is what Ben Shapiro is going on about. He's talking about how Andrew Tate doesn't support the idea of a traditional family. And now he's going into, like, well, here's how we usually know of this idea, which is through, like, Marxism or polyamory. Both examples of which he gave were neither informative or correct. So now we're going to be talking about Andrew Tate Are we going to agree with Ben Shapiro about Andrew Tate? We might. You should get prepared for that. And I have to pee because I chugged this whole root beer because my throat is tight and dry. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm literally going to be like 45 seconds, okay? Don't go. Don't go. Okay. Doesn't Andrew Tate have a daughter? Or is that Tristan Tate, his brother? I'm pretty sure Andrew Tate has a kid. Andrew Tate children? Andrew Tate children's book? Andrew Tate... Well, Reddit, I don't know. What? Okay, so all of these like top results are saying that he claims he has kids, but like there's no proof of that. Reddit is always truthful, right? No, it's not. But it's got a lot of gossip. God, why is my throat all messed up right now? Maybe I should stop choking on so much anyways. Come on. How many kids? This. I don't want to listen to the music. Like, it doesn't make things, like, more special. If anything, it makes it more cringe. Let's see. I have no problems having kids with one woman. It's fine. But if you're going to take 9 months to grow a simple baby, then you're just messing about and that's your problem. Gestate a baby in 2 weeks and get your shit together. Okay, so Andrew Tate apparently has a dozen children. Like, I'd like to see them. Show me the children!
Political left. All grifters, all con men have to take immutable truths, and they have to attempt to subvert those immutable truths in favor of some...
Ben, you're talking about yourself. Yo, when Ben Shapiro talks about grifters, he's literally talking about himself. It's so fucking funny.
Not, unfortunately, restricted to the political left. All grifters, all con men have to take immutable truths, and they have to attempt to subvert those immutable truths in favor of something only they have uncovered. Like something incredible that you never knew about. And if only you take that red pill, then you'll know it. You'll know it. And then you'll be rich. You won't have to do hard work in order to be rich. You won't have to be a good person in order to attract a good mate. You won't have to spend the time raising your children in order to be a successful man. They've discovered the secret. The leader on this side of the movement is, of course, Andrew Tate. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, the cost of living has already increased 17% this year.
No. No ads from Ben. Okay.
Andrew Tate, who got his start as a provocative reality TV star, who then started a webcam business grooming women into sex trafficking, effectively. And that is according to his own admission. That's how he made his money.
Damn it.
Whether he says that they were groomed or not groomed, the reality is he groomed women into getting into the webcam industry, which is pornography. Well, Andrew Tate has this. This is his game. His game, Andrew Tate, has been incredibly popular online for a reason, which we'll examine in a moment. Number one, Andrew Tate is very entertaining. He's entertaining because he explodes the myths. But the way that he, quote unquote, explodes the myths is he plays a really stupid game. It's a game for stupid people. The game is like this. I'm going to say two transgressive things that violate the taboos of the culture around me. One of those things is true, and one of those things is false. But because they are both transgressive, and because people will oppose me on both of them, one for bad reasons and one for good reasons, this means that I have somehow gotten under the skin of the Matrix. Everyone opposes me, which is why I'm a rebel. That's Andrew Tate's entire game. So he will say things like, feminism has ruined men by usurping the male role and robbing men of their initiative. That is a true thing. That is a
Then what's your problem, Ben? I think Ben's just mad because he probably would have been like this to begin with if he didn't, sucker down to his traditional life. I think he's just mad because he secretly wishes he didn't have a traditional life and he wants to explore that. Why else would he bring up Marx and polyamorous people?
true thing that is not politically correct to say.
He's not wrong. He's just not the most credible person to be saying it. Wow.
Then he will say another transgressive thing that is absolutely false. Like, for example, women love it when you treat them like garbage, and you should treat women like garbage, and dominant men are the kind of men who treat women like garbage. That is not a true thing. It's a transgressive thing. And it's transgressive specifically because it's evil. It is a bad thing to say. It is a bad thing to think. Women should not be treated like trash. And good women do not want to be treated like trash. And you treating women like trash is not going to make your life better, and it's not going to make their life better. But it is a transgressive thing to say. It is taboo. And so Andrew Tate has violated so many taboos, and he can get away with it because, of course, the rules don't apply to him. He's a Nietzschean Ubermensch because he is very, very buff.
Did he just call Andrew Tate a Nietzschean Ubermensch? Whoa now, Ben. Those are big terms now. That's funny. I don't know. Is Andrew Tate an Ubermensch? I don't know. He might think that. I don't know. Is Andrew Tate an Ubermensch? What do we say? He's mocking the persona. That's so funny. He's a Nietzschean Ubermensch. He said that like it's a fucking slur. It can be. It could be pretty derogatory in some ways, like when the when Nazi ideals try to use that idea of the Ubermensch, but
Example, women love it when you treat them like garbage, and you should treat women like garbage, and dominant men are the kind of men who treat women like garbage. That is not a true thing. It's a transgressive thing. And it's transgressive specifically because it's evil. It is a bad thing to say. It is a bad thing to think. Women should not be treated like trash. And good women do not want to be treated like trash. And you treating women like trash is not going to make your life better, and it's not going to make their life better. But it is a transgressive thing to say. It is taboo. And so Andrew Tate has violated so many taboos, and he can get away with it because, of course, the rules don't apply to him. He's a Nietzschean Ubermensch because he is very, very buff, and because he works out a lot, and because he smokes cigars. And this means you should listen to him. You should listen to him, in fact, so much that you should pay him $49.99 a month to join Hustlers University, where you will learn other secrets. Like, for example,
I don't know. I think Ben is jealous of him in some ways. I really do. I just stupid Andrew Tate and his sexy muscles. And his multiple women.
You don't need hard work and initiative in order to really get ahead. You can learn his magical methods for making lots and lots of money. You can own a Bugatti, just like Andrew Tate owns a Bugatti.
A Bugatti!
And all you have to do is listen to his magical business advice, which explodes all of the matrix.
Yay, thank you for becoming a member, Fachita. I don't know why it still says monad. Like, it should definitely not say monad. Like, I've changed that several times. But thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Where can we put your name on the board? Yes, we can. Look at that. With a big old purple marker. Thank you, Fachita. I got your name on the board back there. Tate is so... Hey, Mac. Mac says, Tate is so basic, definitely not the next grand evolution of mankind, not even close. Ooh, my eyes are, like, itchy, too. I think I might be having allergies right now. I think that's why my throat's getting all fucked up. Yo, where's my allergy pills? I bet if I take one, I'll feel so much better. All right, Ben.
The matrices of truth, the immutable truths. Now, why am I talking about Andrew Tate today? The reason I'm talking about Andrew Tate today is because Andrew Tate, again, playing the two transgressive things, one true, one false game, has over the past few months said some true things and then said a lot of false things, all of them transgressive. Right? So the true thing that he has said is he said, quote, I pray Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. I agree with literally every word of that Andrew Tate statement, that Christianity ought to regain its strength and protect its society against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. I agree with all of those things, actually. Then Andrew Tate will put out tweets like the one that he did yesterday. Here is Andrew Tate's tweet, and this is why it comes up in the context of marriage. Again, he is telling you an immutable truth must be exploded. That immutable truth is the fundamental good and necessity of family. Quote, Dear white men, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Okay, so again, even within this tweet, he is saying a couple...
I haven't seen that. What? Dear men, dear white men, you're fucked. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Even if those of you... Fucking about the replacement online... Like the little girl... I can't do Andrew Tate's voice. I don't know why it's getting like New Yorker. Yeah. See? Yeah. See? Okay, I gotta back this up. I know they've been beefing, but I haven't known precisely what about. So this is really funny.
Because none of you have children. Okay, so again, even within this tweet, he is saying a couple of things. One, all transgressive, some true, some false. One, Western societies are not reproducing a replacement rate. That's a very bad thing. We've talked about that on the show a lot. It is why, for example, family is necessary. But he goes...
Wait, I gotta back this up. Hold on.
Constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. I agree with literally every word of that Andrew Tate statement, that Christianity ought to regain its strength and protect its society against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. I agree with all of those things, actually. Then Andrew Tate will put out tweets like the one that he did yesterday. Here is Andrew Tate's tweet, and this is why it comes up in the context of marriage. Again, he is telling you an immutable truth must be exploded. That immutable truth is the fundamental good and necessity of family. Quote, Dear white men, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Okay, so again, even within this tweet, he is saying a couple of things. One, all transgressive, some true, some false. One, Western societies are not reproducing a replacement rate. That's a very bad thing. We've talked about that on the show a lot. It is why, for example, family is necessary. But he goes further because, of course, this is his game. To say many transgressive things, some true, some false. Quote, Dear white men, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Even those of you about the replacement online, like little girls, don't find the gumption to F. I see white men bragging about having 5 kids as if it's an achievement. LOL. 5? LOL. Per year, right? Oh, all you white boys lost control of your women. He's a genius. It's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. All you white boys lost control of your women. And now they won't accept multiple wives anymore. Now they tell you they don't want any more kids. One's enough. Okay, again, just move the apostrophe. Yeah, in any case, put aside the grammatical picayune concerns. is they don't want to do their God-given job anymore. No, they want Instagram likes instead. So your genetic potential is stumped by the whims of some singular female, a female who takes 9 whole months to grow a single baby. Other races have multiple ovens for bread. We're not cucked. Some is screaming at you about loyalty, and you're sitting there saying, yes, baby, off to porn when she's asleep, or maybe cheating with a side condom on. Oh no, I couldn't get another woman pregnant. My wife would kill me. Total effing losers. Soon your race will be nothing more than a few pages in a history book. A lesson on what happens when you F the female psyche so hard they're obsessed with money and social media as opposed to being one of many baby factories for a king. 30 children minimum for the dons. White people, go talk to your best friend wife about what to do this weekend. Maybe you can take a nice walk around the IKEA. Enjoy extinction. Okay, so again, one true thing, many false things. One true thing. People need to be having more kids in Western civilization. The many false things. Marriage is bad. Loyalty to your spouse is...
It's just sinking in. Like, what the fuck he just... Where is this Andrew Tate thing? Is this on, like, Twitter? Like, what's going on? Is this on Andrew Tate's Twitter? Is this where this was found? Also, my hair is poofier than a motherfucker, and it's driving me insane. It looks like shit today. See, where is Andrew Tate? Oh. My hair needs another haircut. Let's see. Andrew Tate. Okay, there he is. Cobra Tate. Was this off his Twitter? Andrew Tate. Human trafficker because I told friends how to post on TikTok. Rapist because some girl remembered from 15 years ago once I became rich. Okay. Wait. A 3-minute motivational. Canceled meeting a girl because I wanted to spend the day with my dog. And she thought I was making excuses. It's not true. I'd happily take her out some other time, but she has to wait because I want to see my dog. Am I wrong to value my dog miles above some girl I've never... What? Miles above a girl I never met? I don't care about having sex with you at all. So you want to have sex with your dog? Like, what? Really? So did she cancel on you? I think she canceled on you. I think that's what really happened there. Okay, what? I just want to see if this like thing that Ben was reading was on his... Oh God, he actually posts a lot. He posts a lot. Are you serious? I didn't realize he posted this much. Where's this shit like with Ben? He's still doing Tate University? I have insulted blacks. I have insulted whites. I have insulted men and women. Okay, whatever. I'm not finding... Is this one of his kids? Yeah, I swear I saw a video of him with, like, a little girl, like, and it's like, that's his daughter. There's no such thing as too many children. Okay. Oh, I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm seeing some hints. Do you understand I'm on Team White? Yo, he posts a lot. Okay, where is this? Like, I swear we're getting, like, closer. But, like, where the fuck is this? Where the fuck is this? We're still on yesterday. He's made, like, literally hundreds of posts in just one day. Like, how? Aren't you busy? Aren't you busy making money and fucking? Like, where is this like, we'll never find this post that's, like, very basic. 70% of people are trapped inside the Matrix. The Matrix was written by 2 trans women. You idiot. Here we go. Oh, there's a community note on this too. Here it is, finally. I was about to give up. Like, honestly, okay, dear white men, you're fucked. Blah, 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 blah. Community note, fertility rates have been falling in all parts of the world and among all races. The fertility rate of non-whites has fallen more than of whites. Okay. Yes, please, procreate. He does look like a fucking weirdo. Easy to say when you don't have to raise your kids, right? Pretty much. Quality instead of quantity. Okay, anyways. Oh, Andrew Tate posts a lot on Twitter. Like, holy shit. Like, we were just scrolling through one day and it was like 50 fucking posts.
Bad. Society can be built on men running around having sex with 30 women and having 30 kids per year. And this is the true measure of a man. And young men think of that like, wow, that sounds amazing. Because, of course, the male sex drive looks for various women. That is just the way that mammalian biology is built. Males seek to impregnate many females. And so that sounds great to a bunch of young men who are off to Andrew Tate's webcam business. It sounds amazing to them. That's also not how societies are built. But again, the idea is, and this is how you know it's a con, marriage is bad. Right? He's actively saying that marriage is bad. Because if you're a person who has 5 kids, LOL. Now, Andrew Tate himself claims that he has double-digit kids. We've never met any of those kids. We don't know exactly who the moms are. Maybe it's like a girlfriend in Canada. We don't actually know. But for those of us who do have, say, 4 kids. I have 4 kids. I've been married for 15 years. If you have 4 kids, double the replacement rate, you are, in fact, doing your societal job. And you should be doing that. But that can only exist functional children. Children who are going to propagate good values require a father in the home. See, here's the thing. If you knock up a bunch of ladies and you leave, you have created a generation of young men who are incapable of raising themselves. The effects of single motherhood in the United States are very well known. You're talking about higher levels of drug use, higher levels of crime, higher levels of poverty, higher levels of suicidal ideation. It creates actual pathologies. And that is what Andrew Tate is promoting, because he is a con artist. And he is conning you into doing something. He is conning you into giving away the only pathway toward actual societal success and personal success in favor of his vision of a Genghis Khan-like spreading of his seed. We'll get to more on this in just a moment. First, $20 barely gets you anything these days.
Right? And it's going to get me more than your face, I'll tell you what.
The reason this is important is because a lot of young men are falling into this sort of stuff. There are a lot of people, obviously, he's very popular. So Andrew Tate got a lot of blowback for this. And then he plays the dumb.
I mean, if Ben Shapiro at least can inspire some of these young boys to, I don't know, not treat all women like absolute ass. I mean, I guess that's doing something, but it's just like, this is weird. It's like I hate them both. They're both terrible, but it's like, since they're pinned up against each other, would there be one I root for more than the other? I mean, Ben's not wrong. It's just, he's also being hypocritical in a way. It's like, just because you're in a 15-year marriage with 4 children doesn't mean you don't have very terrible ideas about women and children and family and marriage.
Game that is played on X all the time. The dumb game goes something like this. Again, it's such a gaslighting game. He's going to say 2 things, both transgressive. 1 true, 1 false. Then when you attack the false thing, he is going to claim that you are attacking the true thing. So you say, yes, Western people need to have more babies, but that can exist only within the context of a religious family structure, which traditionally is how it's done. And so my critique is that you are trash.
That's the kicker with me right there with Ben. It's like, Ben's like, this is a religious traditional thing, and Andrew Tate just wants to make his own idea of traditional masculinity and dominance, male dominance.
Propagating that men should go screw around.
To which, in both of their models of life, the men is at the top. It's just, how do you assert that dominance, I think, is like what they're having a little tiff over.
With 25 women, impregnate them, leave the babies to be left alone with no father, and then declare yourself a real man, oiled up and muscled. It's pathetic, actually. It's degraded and pathetic. Yes, Andrew Tate is a kickboxer. Yes, Andrew Tate could kick my ass physically. Yes, Andrew Tate is not a real man if this is the kind of garbage that he propagates. End of story. But the game here is that if you then attack the obviously cloddish and foolish part of what he is saying, then Andrew Tate says that you're attacking the true part of what he's saying. So here's a video that he released shortly in the aftermath of the blowback he received for this.
What's the chance of the white people kicking out all the people who aren't white from their countries?
Slim to none. Zero.
Zero. How many kids do you got? How many kids do all white people have?
Zero.
It's a path to extinction. Why are they mad at me for pointing that out? And then they're tough guys on Twitter because what they're really butthurt is because I said, you don't control your women anymore. And they know it's true because the women go, I don't want a baby, I want Instagram likes. So they're really butthurt by that. So they're sitting there going, no, actually, I'm going to deport everyone. You're
We're not going to deport.
You're not going to deport anyone.
You brave, big, talking people of England. You're going to deport the Prime Minister. You're going to deport the First Minister of Scotland.
They rule you.
So again, what he is doing is he's misdirecting to a dumb critique of what he is saying, which is, well, we can always deport all the... First of all, I'm not sure why you would deport people on the basis of race rather than ideology. I've gotten a lot of flack in particular circles for suggesting that race is not destiny, mainly because race is not destiny. That is the fundamental...
I have many thoughts, okay, but going on, where that's not the point, but I think, like, it sounds like Andrew Tate is really kind of, like, leaning into, like, upping the white population rather than deporting people of color or of other race. Hi, Philip. Philip says both these guys are awful. I know, but here we are.
Building block of any functional civilization is that ideas are destiny. Race is not destiny. In any case, what Andrew Tate is doing there is he's attacking a dumb critique of what he is doing in order to avoid the culpability for saying something that is actually immoral and evil. Again, this is a person who literally says, on the one hand, that he prays that Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against Satan. On the other hand...
Right. Mark's like, Tate is just awful in the loudest, most vulgar, and extreme way possible, whereas Shapiro is a dumb person's idea of a conservative intellectual. I mean, both of them I would attribute to some form of, like, far-right nonsense. But they do it in their own ways. So it's almost like the bronze versus the brains, but they're both terrible, you know? You got, like, the big muscular oaf with the, like, the nerd. Because Ben is a nerd, come on.
And he openly talks about having made millions of dollars scamming people through a webcam business, and now he scams people through Hustlers University, and also you shouldn't get married and you should impregnate as many women as possible. Sounds super Christian. Slow clap for all the people who believe this garbage. Seriously. Okay. So this means
You're
that we have to now
Jewish.
explain Andrew Tate's grift.
What do you
He's gotten
care
away
what
with this for a
Christians
very
do?
long time, and I'm sure he'll continue to get away with this with a certain segment of the population who really, really likes WWE kayfabe garbage. They really, really like that Andrew Tate walks around his Romanian warehouse without a shirt, and that's like, wow, what a man. Okay, listen, if that's what floats your boat, enjoy spending $50 a month on Hustlers University to learn how to MLM for his social media presence. Fine, but don't pretend.
Walking around with your shirt off. Wow. Look at your gorgeous chiseled six-pack and chest. Wow. Such a man. I don't know. It's really funny.
That this guy is standing for anything remotely like a functional society, virtue, or decency. He is standing for your money in his pocket so he can buy more luxury vehicles before his latest arrest. That is what he is actually standing for. Okay, so let's go through Andrew Tate's history a little bit here, because when he is talking to somebody of right-wing bent, he pretends to be sort of a traditionalist on matters of family and sex. And then immediately he'll turn around and he'll tweet something like this. And then we're all supposed to ignore it if you're on the right, or say that he's being ironical or something like that. But the reality
Ironical. Is that a word?
is this dude has made a lot of money over a lot of time by scamming people. So he started by making a lot of money off the sex industry. There's a person who says that he now stands for virtue and for the manly virtues. Can I tell you something that's not manly? Grooming women to get naked on camera for you to make money off of. The ideal of
I'll agree
masculinity
with
is not
that.
being a pimp. Andrew
I'll agree
Tate
with
was
that.
a pimp. Not 10 years ago, very, very recently.
I mean, if there's anything for certain and is objective in in this universe, all past universes and in future universes, is that I lost my thing. Is Ben Shapiro is not a pimp. He wasn't a pimp in the last life, in the last universe. He's not going to be a pimp in future universe. This is like objective mathematics that will be like concrete for Ben as a Zeta through time, through eternity. He will never be a pimp. That is never a reality that he gets to explore, okay? That's probably why he's really mad here.
Make money off of. The ideal of masculinity is not being a pimp. Andrew Tate was a
Also, the way that he says pimp, like pimp. To be a pimp.
pimp. Not 10 years ago, very, very recently.
Pimp.
As recently as 3 years ago, he was pimping women out on webcam, while simultaneously declaring
Pimping.
that young men are wasting their time and their virility on pornography. Agree, which is why I don't run a webcam business where I pimp out women who I get into the
Quit
business
saying
by having
pimping.
sex with, which was Andrew Tate's entire method.
Yo, it's totally like that. It's like, hello, Potter. Hello, pimping. Just pimp.
And here he was explicating his method in 2020.
So yeah, on corporatate.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
Clever.
And that,
I'm laughing because it's not clever. It's like the opposite of clever. But the way he just snapped and was just like, and that smile, yo, that face. Ew, who sleeps with that?
Explicating his method in 2020.
so yeah, on corporatate.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
Damn.
Clever.
and that,
Clever.
that teaches basically how I got girls,
What a class act.
how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
I was all about trying to get paid. Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense. Like I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me.
Wow.
There's the shtick. And so for a lot of young men who fantasize about having sex with good-looking women, this sounds amazing. Also, it makes you a complete piece of human debris. It makes you garbage if you act like this with regard to women. No matter how much sex you're having with random.
Ben Shapiro has his own, like, really bad takes on women himself. So it's like, I don't know, it's like watching the pot call the kettle black in a way. But it is true that Ben Shapiro is not a pimp. He does no pimping. He has not pimped his wife. Like, he is pretty fucking monogamous, but he still has some really bad ideas about women. But he doesn't go out and exploit. I guess that's the difference, is like, they both have terrible ideas about women. Both of them do. The difference between the two is that Andrew Tate actively exploits and manipulates women, whereas Ben just sits in his chair and just has really fucking shitty ideas. That he still influences young men, you know, but I guess, you know, I'll take the step in a direction that doesn't involve doing the lover boy method and exploiting women sexually. I guess we gotta take that little step, I guess. Ben Shapiro thinks some women should be subordinate and second to men, so yeah. But
off the Instagrams. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First,
oh my
there is nothing like sitting in the...
Are you seriously doing a goddamn ad every fucking 10 minutes? Now who's the grifter, okay? Look at this grifter. Here I have like 10 fucking ads in my fucking...
And now, of course, he has moved beyond this because he got arrested for a bunch of stuff related to his webcam business, and he runs Hustlers University, which is where you learn. So before, you learned from him in his pimping hose degree. You learned how to make lots of money without actually doing any work by having sex with women and then convincing them to take off their clothes for the prurient interests of other men on the internet. Well, now he's moved on to bigger and better things. Hustlers University, where he promises he's going to teach you how to make tons of money. All you have to do is pay him $50 a month, and he's going to teach you how, you know, just like marriage is a scam, and he's going to help you see through it by taking the red pill. It turns out that all of industry can be cracked by going on Hustlers University, where he will teach you all the money-making secrets. Now, the reality is that there is no actual, quote-unquote, secret to making money. If you want to make a lot of money in this life, you have to do 3 things, okay? That's it. You want to make a lot of money in this life. Find the thing that you like to do, the thing that people are willing to pay you for, and the thing that you are good at. If you find those 3 things, you will end up making a lot of money. If you find 2 of those 3 things...
I mean, it's vaguely good. I mean, it's better than what Andrew Tate says. It's kind of vague and mediocre, but yeah, I mean, ideally, not necessarily to make a ton of fucking money, but, you know, to have a good, like, have some good financial well-being as best as you can without sacrificing your whole fucking self. You should do something that you like and that people are willing to pay you for, you know. But that's, like, so fucking vague and just easily just said, right? Like, well, then what? Like, that could be fucking anything. In Ben's case, it's right-wing grifting.
You might be happy without making a lot of money, or you might be unhappy without making a lot of money. But that's it. Okay? You have to find something you like to do, something you're good at, meaning you have to develop an actual skill set, which requires time and attention.
Okay, Ben, but where's your skill set? Because I have many questions about what your skill set is, let alone if you actually have any. Like, what is your skill set, Ben? What is it? We have no idea.
And investment and real focus on detail. And you have to find something people want from you. So it can't just be making mud pies in the backyard. It has to be something that appeals to other human beings who want to pay you for that thing, which can be difficult too. You have to find a market, right? There is no dirty secret to making a lot of money quick. Okay, this is Andrew Tate's equivalent of, hey guys, have you ever heard about the day trading? So CoffeeZilla, who is an excellent YouTube account, he does a good job debunking all of these sort of online scams. He did a full-scale investigation into Hustlers University. Here's a little bit of what he found. And part of it, by the way, is that one of the ways that Andrew Tate goes viral on social media so often is because part of his get-rich-quick scheme for people is that they have incentive structures so that you tweet out videos or send out videos on social media about how wonderful Andrew Tate is.
The program he runs is called Hustleversity, where he teaches you how to make fast money if you'll only pay $50 a month. And one of these fast money methods turns out to be selling Hustleversity to new people by posting clips of him, Andrew Tate. And because of this, it kind of created this pyramid scheme where there was a flood of TikTok videos and biased reviews saying that Andrew Tate is the one true savior that will save you from poverty. He's basically Morpheus from the Matrix, and that's not even me calling him that. He calls himself that.
I get called Morpheus a lot.
We are living inside of the Matrix, and I am Morpheus.
He says he wants to wake you from your mental prisons, all by selling you a program that sounds like what high school dropouts used to put as their education status on Facebook. Attended the School of Hard Knocks and graduated Hustleversity with a PhD. Wait, you're a doctor? No, that's the Pimping hose degree, which is something, by the way, I didn't make up. It's a course that Andrew Tate himself sells. But I don't think you want to take advice from someone who's in the middle of a human investigation. I joined this month and have been going through the classes, which is basically all of the same boring topics all of these guys teach about making money. It's all the most surface level stuff.
A pimpin' hose degree. I mean, that would definitely be something I say in jest. Like, I have a PhD, like a pimpin' hose degree in neogenism. I have a PhD, a pimpin' hose degree in neogenian. What the fuck would that even mean? Like, nothing.
He assigns a so-called professor to each skill, and all of this takes place inside of Discord servers. And so in these chat rooms where your instructors have a fraction of the charisma of Tate, you're supposed to commit yourself to these skill sets, which are super surface level because, of course, this all appeals to the lowest common denominator men who think answers can come from TikTok videos. And this is where it starts to hit you as you're scrolling through Discord threads, that this kind of was all a big bait and switch. I mean, think about it. You've been told you're going to escape the Matrix. You're going to take the red pill. But what you end up doing in this course is sort of learning how to run an Amazon side hustle for Jeff Bezos.
So that's the game. The only person who makes real money off of this is Andrew Tate. So just how rich is Andrew Tate?
Well,
'Cause again,
yeah, that's
his
the
entire
fucking
shtick
point.
is based on the idea that he is,
Also,
in his own personage, uber
I gotta say, another thing that bothers me about this is that it's so late. Like, where was Ben Shapiro on this, like, years ago, right? Like a few years, like a couple years ago, even? Like, when Ben Shapiro was like, oh, okay, you know, he's alright, Like, where was this? I don't know. It just seems so late to the party. It's like we all figured out that Andrew Tate was a major scammer and grifter and disgusting, like, human trafficker well before this. So the fact that he's, like, talking about it as if it's new, it's like, really? You didn't know? No, no, I have not, Liz. I have not. No. I have not seen that. I have no idea about that or what that means or anything about it. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I have no idea. Anyways, going back to this.
No. He is the ideal male. He's having sex with beautiful women. He's got Bugatti. He's got luxury cars. And that's why you should ignore marriage. That's why you shouldn't get married. That's why you should sign up for Hustlers University and pay him money. Is because he is the ideal. Again, it's always a grift. When someone tells you that a time-tested truth is false, and they know the real secret, and they have no evidence of this, that's a grift. This is a grift, and people have fallen for the grift by the tens of thousands. I don't say by the millions, because it's not true. Okay, now let's talk about Andrew Tate's actual level of wealth. Did you know a baby's heart begins to beat at just 3 weeks? At 5 weeks.
Oh my fuck. Another ad. Like, this is the fourth ad.
So, just a few months ago, Andrew Tate tweeted out, this is September 2023, with, of course, the obligatory picture of himself working out shirtless. Quote, "For 5 months, they locked me in my house. During that time, I developed a simple routine. Wake up, garden, laptop, and weights. Make a minimum of $300,000 and do a minimum of 10,000 reps. A new ice-cold water every 20 minutes. A new coffee every 1.5 hours. That's a lot of time spent peeing, I would imagine. 8-hour shifts, usually 11 till 7. Chefs have dinner on the table at 8. I eat my only meal of the day with the soldiers in my house because he leads, of course, a true army in Romania from a warehouse. Then discuss and smoke cigars, shisha, deep into the night.
Deep into the night.
And then he talks about how, he used to take time off and go to dinner and go shopping, but he felt bad.
I often, I vape deep into the night.
Because he wasn't doing enough reps, and he was only making $280,000 a day instead of $300,000 a day. So if he actually were making $300,000 a day, that calculates out to about $110 million a year. That's a lot of money. It's like a lot of money. So how much money is Andrew Tate actually worth? We should ask these questions because, after all, it is based on his projection of wealth, that so many people are falling for the lie that you can just dispense with time-tested wisdom, like get married and have children and live a solid life, in favor of absolute stupid waste of money like Hustlers University. So remember that time that Tucker Carlson went and interviewed Andrew Tate and they marveled at his magical mansion in Romania? And this unbelievable mansion in Romania? Wow, huge complex in Romania. Okay, so I'm just going to point out that amazing mansion in Romania, it has a parking lot and it's got some cars in it. Ooh. That mansion in Romania is not in the nice part of Romania. It's actually in kind of a garbage part of town. It's actually an industrial warehouse he bought for $700,000 and made over, according to the New York Post. They asked Andrew Tate for comment, no comment. How about his other wealth? The UK Guardian did a look into this. They said Tate says he owns a chain of 15 casinos and that they earn him $1 million a month. Apparently not, according to the company records in Bucharest. We search high and low and find no evidence he owns a single casino. It's tough to find out how much Tate's Romanian companies are actually worth. We can find tax returns for only one. Talisman Enterprises, listed as a web portal business. That has 1.2 million pounds of debt. The Guardian asked him for comment, by the way. No comment. Also, you'll recall a video of Andrew Tate giving a tour of his fantastic castle, supposedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars, this unbelievable castle. Here's a little bit of this incredible video of his castle.
Yeah, I've said that several times, Liz, so far. Like, Ben Shapiro is himself a grifter.
He's walking through the doorways of the castle. And this, of course, means that all of his advice about life, such as treat women like absolute trash, that's the way you should do it. Because, obviously, he owns a castle. An only very rich man.
That actually
very
looks like a
successful,
really
masculine
cool
kind of man. Owns a castle.
The way Ben gets the tone, he's like, Mr. Big Man with the big muscles sitting in his castle.
There's only one problem. He doesn't own the castle. According to the tab, Andrew Tate's castle is an Italian hotel in Umbria, 2 hours away from Florence. Hotel Castello di Recchio is a boutique luxury hotel owned and operated by Count Benedict Bolsha and his wife, Donna Nencia. They lived in the dilapidated castle and raised their 5 children before architect Benedict redesigned the building into a hotel in 2021. You can see pictures of the hotel. His parents continue to live on the estate. There's no evidence Tate owns any part of the Italian family's estate. How much does it actually cost? Well, if you decide that you want to stay there for a night, then you are going to spend about $950 a night. So,
yeah, I think Kate was saying, like, Shapiro wishes he was Andrew Tate. I think in some way, but not, like, on the surface.
So for just $950, you too can pretend to own a giant castle in Romania and then sucker a bunch of dispossessed young men into believing that you hold the secret to wealth creation. So how much is he actually worth? According to the Daily Mail, June 2023, when Romanian authorities arrested him, they actually did a rundown on his...
Yo, that's a good point, Mark. Mark says Shapiro seems to envy what Tate is supposed to be, but it's shadow content. I think there's definitely some shadow projection going on here. Because I think in some ways, Andrew Tate is a representation of Ben Shapiro, like, deep in his subconscious, but it's a very radical representation. It represents something with inside Ben, but it's, like, amplified, like, 1 billion times to the max. And I think that's why Ben hates it so much.
wealth, and here's what they found.
So I speculate.
Quote,
Speculation.
despite the influencer previously claiming to be a trillionaire, a press release from Romania's anti-organized crime prosecution unit, DICOT, suggested Tate's true fortune was more likely around 10 million pounds.
What the
which is about $12.5 million in today's dollars.
fuck? There's a big fucking rat outside in the back. It's like brown and scruffy and shit. Oh, fuck me.
As part of the indictment, prosecutors ordered the confiscation of luxury assets from the Tate brothers, including 15 high-value cars, 14 luxury watches, and about 440,000 pounds held in cryptocurrency, according to the agency's statement. So, Andrew Tate has some money. Is he beyond the world wealthy, such that you should explode thousands of years of human knowledge about things like marriage and how to properly treat women and how to build a civilization? I think not, because the grift is the grift is the grift. So just to sum up, when it comes to Andrew Tate's idea of true manhood, the thing that you should emulate by getting rid of fundamental human institutions like marriage so as to impregnate as many women as possible in preservation of the white race, which is...
Maybe that's it. Maybe because Ben feels like more young men want to emulate Andrew Tate than they want to emulate him. He's not seen as like the pinnacle of what man should be. Andrew is, and he doesn't like that. You think that's in the ballpark there? You think that might be in the ballpark?
what he literally tweeted
God, I'm insufferable sometimes.
yesterday. Here is his idea of manhood. Convincing men away from the only human institutions that have ever driven happiness, having sex with a wide variety of women, impregnating them, and then abandoning your children, exploiting women for money by having them pose naked on camera and then making money off of them, which makes you a pimp, lying about your wealth, buying luxury vehicles and making over cheap Romanian real estate so that you appear significantly wealthier than you are, so people will think that you actually are a deeply successful human being who has started a real business rather than, a scam. And of course, just to top it off, talking about how you can beat people up physically and walk around shirtless and smoke a cigar.
He's losing masculine admiration to Tate.
Turns out there are a bunch of dudes in jail who can do the same exact thing. So, Andrew Tate, why does all this matter? Because the onlines have warped people's brains. They've warped people's brains. On the left, you have the New York Times, fully legacy media publications pushing the idea that marriage is over, family is over. You need a polycule. What you need is the Communist Manifesto brought to life. You need genderqueer polycules in order to really fix society's problems. And on the right, you have grifters who are willing to take advantage of the collapse of traditional religion in order to fill in that gap with scams where they maximize their own earning potential and their own exposure. And all it takes is a few well-placed...
There's a lot of gray area between people on the right seemingly not into... Okay, I guess it's not traditional in the sense that Andrew Tate's not, like, really promoting marriage, but it's traditional in the sense of, like, the man is, like, the procreator. Like, he goes out and he diddles everybody and spreads the seed. Like, there's still that essence in both things. But there's a lot of, like... Because there's a lot of, like, right-wing, like, people like Ben Shapiro who, like, come off as religious, but I feel like their religion is being more used as a tool rather than them actually, like, believing in it. Especially when they're trying to take that religion and establish that as something that everyone should be. With Ben, it's not necessarily, like, being Jewish, but it's, like, establishing Christianity, just like having, like, a religious nationalist sort of thing.
Paid operatives on the social media platforms in order to maximize your exposure, and then people will believe you're much more successful than you are. In reality, there is no easy path to success. There is no easy path to societal building. There is no easy path. But there are paths that work. And those paths include things like get married and have kids with a good woman if you're a man, with a good man if you're a woman.
No.
They include things like go to church.
No,
like don't just proclaim that you love a particular religion on the interwebs and then never go to church. Go to actual church and involve yourself in actual community building.
No.
Do that. Get a skill set. Cultivate that skill set.
No,
Spend
I'm
long
joking.
hours doing things for free to cultivate
I mean,
that
get some
skill set.
skills.
Get good at it and then market it to people who want to trade their good products and services to you for your goods, products, and services. These are the pathways to success. There's nothing easy about it. It's also the only path to actual life success and fulfillment and happiness. And anyone who promises you the cheat code is lying to you. Alrighty, and just one
Okay, but isn't that a cheat code in yourself, Ben? Like, if you just do these things I say, then that's the real path. Like, really?
second, we'll get to the latest brouhaha over at NPR first. Behold, the iconic leftist tears.
Oh, Lord. Another ad. What did... Okay, what did Andrew Tate say anything? Andrew... This is in, like, November 2023. This is, like, last year. Andrew Tate accuses Ben Shapiro of having short man syndrome and bizarre rant. Oh! So this is why Ben Shapiro doesn't like him. Wait a minute. This was last year. What's going on here? I didn't know about this shit. What's going on? What's happening?
Ben is always calling for other people's young men to go and die in some war. He seems to love it. I don't know if he has short man syndrome, but he's always behind his desk calling about how important it is that big, strong men like me go and die. And the reason he tweeted that and said that is because when Hamas and Israel, very early in the conflict, I think it was 3 days in, were discussing possible peace talks, he tweeted, no, absolutely not, fuck them, kill them all. And I said, Ben, as a man who's done his own fighting, because I've had a life of pain and violence, listen to me. Peace is always worth a conversation. What I said is that we should always be prepared to at least discuss peace. He, because he's a warmonger, said, no, peace is not worth a conversation. You're this, you're that, da-da. Because he's always sitting behind his desk. He must have a booster chair, and he's always running his mouth trying to invoke violence and call for war. And I find it kind of hypocritical because a man who's so small he would die if he was slapped on the street, sitting behind a desk and screaming for other people to be annihilated, I think is kind of, it's worse than hypocritical.
I believe...
It's insane.
Well, okay, that might have something to do with the fact that Ben doesn't like Andrew. Also, why is Andrew Tate talking about, like, saying that peace, like, just needs a conversation? Like, obviously the situation between Israel and Palestine is beyond conversation. That's why it's happening. It's been beyond conversation since well before I was born, or Andrew was born, or Ben was born.
Shapiro went on to read aloud the following social media post from Tate Thursday. Dear white man, you're effed. You're being replaced because none of you have children. Even those of you...
Yeah. What did Andrew say in response?
I'm saying is when you say we,
okay,
we meaning just independently talk, because you may Rob is sitting over there, maybe doesn't agree.
Rob doesn't watch videos.
Yes, go ahead. Make your point.
The collective we.
Yes.
Me, myself, and
For
I.
sure. We've had Tate multiple.
Is this his response? I don't want to listen to this.
Is this it?
I think this is it.
Is this
I think so.
one?
Yeah, play it. Play it.
Can you play this clip, Rob? I think this is it.
Great.
Not working. Yeah.
But that is it. That is the one. Oh, there it is.
Try it one more time.
Angry. I don't know why it's taking you so long.
Christian men.
Even as a Muslim, even as somebody who's recently reverted, it gives me genuine happiness to see the Christians finally angry about something. You have gay preachers, LGBT drag story hours at your fucking churches. You sit around and turn the other cheek. You have no cheeks left to turn.
All right. That's not what I want. I want, like, a response. I don't think he really did. Like, it would have been, like, up here. I haven't seen it. Plus, do I care? I mean, for fuck's sakes, I think we get the point now. Yo, as far as, like, neo-Genian ideas of, like, marriage and family and all that, if that's what you want, fucking go for it. Have a monogamous relationship, have a big family, have lots of kids, like, live a quote unquote traditional life. That's fine. And if you don't want that, that's also cool. As long as you have healthy relationships in general, it really doesn't fucking matter what kind of relationship it is. If it's a happy, healthy, mutual, consensual relationship with you and another person, or in a polycule, or like in a family situation, you know, you have like children involved, where you care and you have a good, healthy relationship with children as a parent, like, do it. Like, if you want kids, have kids. If you don't want kids, have kids. The neo-Genian stance on marriage and relationships is as long as it's healthy and you're happy, do it. Like, there's no pressure of procreating. There's no pressure of not procreating. Like, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's the freedom that we want for people to just, like, not really any conceptualization of what should be traditionally done or not. Exactly. Consensual, respectful, healthy boundaries, mutual support, and sustainability. Like, as long as your relationships are healthy, like, have them. If they're not healthy, get help and you know, work on something that is healthy. Like whether it be through getting some counseling with that person, or whether it be through leaving that person, like, both of you working on something, ending it, like, whatever it means, like work for healthy relationships. All right, my friends, we got our last subject of the day. We're going to be watching a hilarious interview with Kyle Rittenhouse. I have to pee so bad. All right, I'll be right back. I ate a chip and there was a hair in my mouth. Okay. So, yes, Kyle Rittenhouse. So Kyle Rittenhouse has been making his rounds around colleges, and it hasn't been well received. What do I want? 7-Up? Let's do it. Ugh. Wait, what? 3 retired lesbian couples living on the same street? The thing about Kyle Rittenhouse is that I've heard or seen from good sources that things are going to get really ugly for Kyle Rittenhouse as some civil lawsuits are going to be coming out at the end of the year. And I've been hearing a lot from, what's his face? God, what is his name? From Twitter. The guy the retired Navy SEAL that used to work with Kyle Rittenhouse until he realized that it was completely frivolous. He also provided the tea that Kyle Rittenhouse is not able to get into the military. Let's see. And he thinks like it's really coming to an end for Kyle, which I have to agree. It really looks like that. David Hancock, that's right. I've been like when I first introduced David Hancock, I'm like, this is a new guy, I don't know about him. But like as I've been like following his Twitter, he's the fucking goat. Like he's the fuck. I mean, he's definitely a centrist in a way, but his words that he throws out against Trump, against like all that Christian nationalist like bullshit, he's like a total whistleblower. He's like, fuck this shit, fuck everyone. Like he's fucking fantastic. And he has all the tea on Kyle Rittenhouse because he used to be, like, essentially his handler. And he tried his best to get Kyle Rittenhouse into, like, college, get him an education, get him on the right path. But Kyle Rittenhouse and all the other political people around him that wanted to, like, utilize him pushed him in a different direction. Kyle Rittenhouse is dumb as fuck. He has no education. Yet he's being paraded around college campuses despite being a high school dropout. And pretty much he just goes and talks about gun rights. Like, that's it. And it just is not well received. Like, nobody fucking likes him. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. So, Kyle Rittenhouse, we're going to be watching this interview with Tommy Laurent, saying Kyle Rittenhouse tells me he can't even go to the grocery store during the day over fear of being recognized and harassed. His family also had to move to an undisclosed location. Wah. Cry more. David Hancock also spoke about Kyle Rittenhouse's mother, and he brought forward the truth that Kyle Rittenhouse's mom was not supportive of Kyle Rittenhouse's decisions at all. She did not drive him over states. She did not encourage him to go over there. And Kyle Rittenhouse ended up obtaining a gun behind her back when she was against him having that. And Kyle Rittenhouse's mom and sister pretty much like try to keep to themselves as much as possible and away from this whole bull horseshit because they're just not down with it. So anyways, David Hancock is really fucking cool. I like what he has to say. Let's see. A violent racist child with a gun fetish who kills Americans in the street because he got scared after purposefully putting himself into a situation multiple times where he could play pretend cop with his cool new gun and claim self-defense is not and will never be an American hero. Yeah. Definitely not an American hero. Also, look at his goofy ass. Holy shit. Weird ass. All right, let's watch this. What is it? Oh, yeah. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 8 o'clock. Yeah, let's watch this. Now I'm going to go make some dinner. Maybe I'll go for a little drive and get a beer. Meh.
Justice, gun rights, vigilantism, and the BLM Summer of Love. Let's take it back to 2020 and the night that brought...
The BLM Summer of Love? What the fucking crack-fueled shit are you talking about, lady? Good God. I'm appalled by that. And I don't mean by what she said. I mean the background. Get another decorator. It's fucking making me vomit.
All of those things and one young man to the forefront. This is the Kyle Rittenhouse Uncensored Special, and the show starts now.
No.
Despite everything the Fed has been trying, we are still feeling the effects of inflation, filling up your car, grocery shopping, home repairs. Everything is more expensive, and most of you are paying these bills with a credit card. Credit card debt is at an all...
Yo, what is with these fucking righties and these commercials?
Started, and if you start today, you could delay 2 more. 890-8585. That's 866-890-8585, or visit AmericanFinancing.net. So let's take it back to August 25th, 2020, in the tail end
Summer
of what
of
some
love,
networks
apparently.
referred to as the mostly peaceful BLM Summer of Love. It was so peaceful
Who?
that our nation sustained...
Who? Who refers to it as that? Who said that? Where did they say that? This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Who the fuck said that, lady?
billions in damage as cities were burned and looted in the name of justice for George Floyd. In this case, it was Kenosha, Wisconsin, where those mostly peaceful BLM social justice warriors were rioting, looting, and destroying with reckless abandon and zero consideration for the lives, businesses, and property they were destroying. It was a perverted quest for justice for Jacob Blake, who was left paralyzed after being shot by police as he resisted arrest while brandishing a knife.
Oh my fuck. He was paralyzed. Did I mention he was brandishing a knife? And worst of all, he resisted arrest. It's like, you know, you can like apprehend a person with a knife without fucking paralyzing them. You do realize that. But no, I mean, these kind of concepts fly over the head. The way she's framing this already is like making my eye twitch.
In the midst of that chaos was then 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, who traveled to Kenosha from Illinois to serve as a medic and help defend private property. Well, that all spiraled out of control when he was chased by savage BLM protesters who he said intended to kill him. And they likely would have if not for Kyle being armed with an AR-15 style rifle he used to shoot and kill Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber.
He should have died.
And he injured Gage Grosskreutz. And that is where the mass controversy exploded. Was it self-defense? Vigilantism gone wrong? Well, Kyle Rittenhouse had...
I'm pretty sure the survivors and other, like, there's some survivors that are like, there's going to be a civil lawsuit. Like, there's going to be some beef. And I think it's going to be like after election and stuff like that. It'll be like right at the end of the year. Like, I feel it. I feel it coming. This is going to be a fucked up year. Like, it really is. Like, it's going to seem calm right now. Okay, we're going to be, like, in November, and we're all going to be looking back right now at April and be like, my God, those were simple times.
His day in court, and when his trial came to a close, he was acquitted of all charges. But the acquittal wasn't the end of the Rittenhouse controversy, actually far from it. His life was and is forever changed, and since that night in Kenosha and that trial, Kyle has stepped back into the spotlight speaking on college campuses. He was recently run out of the University of Memphis by a mob of green hairs. Welcome to the club. But Kyle isn't done speaking up and speaking out, and he joins me now. Kyle, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join.
How does he still look like a baby? Like, even with the facial hair, he still looks like a brand new baby. Also, what is with that camera angle?
I've got a lot of questions for...
Yo, his eyes. Like, stop it. Like, there's no soul. And those brows. Yeah, I am making fun of his appearance. I really don't give a flying fuck.
For you, but I want to start off with some more recent events, and that's your college campus tours.
Right now, he's thinking, attention, attention, attention. I'm getting attention. Yay, the camera's on me. That's all he's thinking. That's all that's going through his brain.
Speaking out on college campuses, obviously not warmly received and welcomed by all the students and all the activists on those campuses. But you got to tell me, after everything that's happened to you, after your life has been completely upended, what made you want to step back into the spotlight, back into the controversy, and subject yourself to a lot of hate and a lot of pushback?
The people puppeting him encouraged him to do that shit because they want him to do that because they're using him as like a pawn piece to like talk about like gun issues. That's why he's doing this. With that, and he wants attention. Like, he literally just loves the attention, and it's like his moment in the sun is over and he wants to bring it back. It's not going to go well for him. It's not. And it's only going to last so long. Like, imagine Kyle Rittenhouse in the next, like, 20, 30 years. He's definitely going to look worse than he does now. He's going to be sitting in some, like, shack with, like, some shitty, cheap beer in a dirty, like, white, like, t-shirt, undershirt thing, and some, like, boxer shorts. Just, like, remember those times? Like, watching his own, like, footage, like, over and over again. The times when I was a star.
Just by your mere presence.
Well, thank you for having me. And the reason I've decided to go ahead and take a stand in a way and be an advocate right now is because I see the current attack our Second Amendment is under. The current administration pushing red flag laws, a assault weapons ban, and the better bipartisan Better Safety Community Act that they just passed. It's just ridiculous. And I want to speak out against that and hopefully see change to where we have a society where our constitutional rights are not infringed upon.
What?
Well, no shit, because you're a gun pervert.
Why do you think that these campus activists and really liberals across the spectrum, why do you think that they seemingly hate you so much?
Well, first of all, they're educated and Kyle isn't. So it's like, what the fuck are you trying to say here? Like, these kids are educated. They know what the fuck the world's about. They're not fucking stupid. But y'all are gonna pretend here and be like, gee, I just don't know. They just don't like me. I think they're just lefties. And they're just silly. Little silly billies.
I honestly believe that a lot of these liberals have no idea what's going on. They're brain fed and they're drinking the Kool-Aid of what's being told to them.
But they're in college and you aren't.
And they just want to go out there and protest. Most of them don't even know what happened to me. They just automatically assume things about me that are false, and they want to wreak havoc and cause a disturbance or a scene.
Yeah, I think that's obviously true. I mean, your name, obviously, ever since 2020 has carried a lot of weight. People who stand beside you and people, obviously, who don't like you, dislike you, have never met you, but just the thought of you and your name coming up, you know, it causes a derangement in them. Is similar to how they feel about...
Yeah, derangement. I mean, I suppose you could word it that way. I think it's more just like natural and fiscal anger towards injustice, but, you know, hey, what do you know? I must be deranged.
Donald Trump, but, you know, I want to ask you, do you feel like, obviously your name carries a lot of public attention, do you feel like in some ways you are kind of a celebrity because of everything that you went through and everything that happened to you, especially during that high intensity time of 2020, 2021?
I hate that word celebrity so much.
No, you don't. You love it.
In a way, there has been a lot of notoriety that has come with the incident that has happened. And I've used that notoriety to help advocate for the Second Amendment. I currently work for Texas Gun Rights, where I advocate for the Second Amendment behind the scenes and also on the front lines.
What do you say to people on the left and the right that say, you know, I stand up for Kyle Rittenhouse. I believe he's innocent. I believe that he acted justly that night in the summer of 2020. But I just don't know if he's the right person to be standing up for gun rights, at least publicly. What do you say to those people?
We all have a First Amendment right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But do you think that some of the criticism that you've received from the left and the right, do you agree with any of it? Do you push back on any of it? Can you see where people are coming from? What's your response?
I understand where people are coming from. I'm 21 years old. They assume I'm too young to know anything about the Second Amendment.
It's not that they think you're too young. It's that we all agree that you're too dumb.
But in reality, I was thrust into a situation where I had to grow up really fast and study the Second Amendment, learn about the Constitution, and sort of figure out life in a very short time.
Do you think if what happened to you in 2020, do you think if it happened today as we sit in 2024, do you think that your trial would have gone differently? We know that even since then, the justice system has changed dramatically. I mean, look no further than the 4 indictments for former President Donald Trump. Do you think that you would be given the same trial today as you had back then?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was acquitted November 19th, 2021. Joe Biden was currently in office, and I was given a fair trial, and the jury looked at the facts. I think if we were able to go into trial and be able to have the same judge and the same jury, it probably would have been a lot smoother, because it was a very heated time during my trial, because it was a little over a year since everything burned down and people were still scared.
Yeah, you know, people are still scared. You know, I imagine that it's got to be frustrating for you to look back on 2020. I mean, a lot of horrible things happened in 2020. To me, one of the darkest times in our nation's history for a lot of different reasons, not only the BLM Summer of Love, but also the COVID pandemic and the response to that. But, you know, as you look back on that time and the way that the media and the left has really been able to sanitize and whitewash everything that BLM did to our country, how angry does that make you now that it seems like everything that they did has largely been excused or forgotten, but your name still carries so much infamy?
What a like, I don't know if that's kind of leading, right? That's a very that's a very particularly worded question with a very certain narrative.
Well, I think there's a double standard. I think if I was a Democrat and the roles were reversed, I probably would never have been charged. And they used me as a political pawn, so it kind of ticked me off.
You are being used as a political pawn right now by your own people who say they're on your side. And I'll tell you what, as soon as Kyle Rittenhouse is done being useful, they're going to leave him high and dry. He's a useful idiot. That's it. He's a pawn. Eventually his own people are going to turn on him.
To see how they used a 17-year-old kid at the time for their own narrative, all the way to the current president, Joe Biden, using my face in a campaign ad, calling me a white supremacist. I don't think the media or politicians should be allowed to do that. I don't think the media should be able to.
Wait a minute. What happened to First Amendment rights? What about free speech? What about the truth? What about opinion? Yeah, they should be allowed to call you a murderer
and get away with it and be protected by certain laws that are in place.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously seems very convenient that your name is routinely brought up at the time. You know, you were under age 18. And, you know, we had a recent incident in Kansas City when there was some thugs that shot up the Super Bowl victory parade. And a lot of the media, when we didn't know what was happening, they said, oh, you know, we don't want to identify who it was because they were a minor. They really go to great lengths to keep people's identities, their motivations, everything under lock and key. You know, not also far from what happened here in Nashville with the trans shooter at our Covenant school. But, you know, when it comes...
We still haven't gotten the entire book.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, what do you think about that? And speaking of double standards, what do you think about that? That they had no problem splashing your face across everything, calling you horrible names, calling you a white supremacist. But there are others that they seem to really coddle and protect because maybe it's not as attractive for the narrative.
Well, first off, in Nashville, the officers did a phenomenal job stopping the threat quickly and doing exactly what they were trained to do. Second of all, I just love how the media pushes it under the rug like it never happened. And we only saw like 3 pages of the manifesto, and I'm curious where the rest of it is. We have a right to know. That was an adult who went and caused harm to a bunch of children and teachers.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Nashville community obviously is still wondering what exactly happened, wondering if the motivations are ever going to be exposed. I would guess probably not, because the shooter in that situation did not fit the preferred narrative. But, you know, after everything happened, I know there was a lot of media headlines that came out about you wanting to just go to college, resume your life. You didn't really want to be in the spotlight. You just wanted to be a normal 18-year-old kid, move on with your life.
No, lies. This is 100% false. This is 100% false. He had the opportunity to go to college and live a normal life. They gave it to him. They set it up for him. David Hancock single-handedly helped set that up for him, and he didn't want that. So this is lies. Painting Kyle is like, well, I didn't want to be in the limelight. I just wanted to live a normal life. Like, that's false. He gave up the normal life because he wanted to stay in the limelight. This is completely false. Untrue. Lies.
At that time, but they really didn't let you move on with your life. Can you take me back to that time and what was going through your mind and how I know you grew up very quick.
You're not letting you move on with your life. Here we are in 2004 having this conversation all over again. I know, seriously. Everybody put dunce caps. We need, like, dunce caps in the chat. Dunce, 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 dunce. Just, like, absolute dunce cap. Both of them.
But how you confronted all this infamy and what made you decide to re-enter, I guess, the national conversation after all that happened to you?
Well, I was thrust into a situation to where at the time I could not get a job. I had to rely on going out and speaking and doing media and a bunch.
No, you were a high school dropout. You already dropped out. You didn't have any interest in pursuing education at all. You weren't thrusted into this situation. You put yourself into this situation. And now this is where you are at.
Of other things. And the media did that. They did it to where I couldn't go and live a normal life. And now they still do it to where I can't get a normal job. I work in politics I work in politics and at Texas Gun Rights, and there's no way I could possibly go and work for some corporate office because they'll be too scared to have my name tied to them.
When you're in public, do you get recognized on the street?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get recognized all the time. It's a little difficult to go out, and I try to go grocery shopping at night now. But there are a lot of times where I get recognized. I had one lady the other day who was at the gas station just randomly start flicking me off and trying to follow me home. So there's weirdos like that out there that I have to watch out for. And a lot of these people who dislike me don't even know what happened. They're just told Kyle's bad, don't like him.
No, it's not that fucking hard, dude. You're not a fucking enigma. Like, you're not a mystery. Also, lady, you need a new fucking designer. Like, you're, like, what is this fucking, like, right-wing fucking cottage chic?
Yeah. And I want to go back into that too. But, I think
white
that's
people
really an
fucking
interesting
farm
conversation to have.
core.
And when it comes to your personal safety, even now, I mean, you are recognizable. Your name is certainly recognizable. Having to go grocery shopping at night, having to be constantly watching your back. You've got a lady that's flipping you off who probably, who knows what she would do. But I'm
My
sure that there are
Lord.
other people that you're actually legitimately concerned for your personal safety, even now, even after everything that's happened to you. How do you confront that situation? How does your family deal with that? That cannot be easy.
You mean the family that doesn't really want anything to do with you?
I trust in God. I know whatever happens, it's going to be His plan. I have a great group of guys that help out with my security whenever I travel, and that's how I handle it. The threats are pretty insane. I posted it on X a couple weeks ago, just a glimpse at some of the threats, and there's people threatening to rape me. There's people threatening to murder me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, like you said, have no idea, what actually happened. And they don't, quite frankly, care. I don't think a lot of people really care about what happened in the summer of 2020 and really getting to the truth of a lot of different things that happened. But, just in terms of how people treat you and how people respond to you, I mentioned your family, but how does your family deal with it? How does, the rest of the Rittenhouse clan, how do they deal with that last name now, having, feelings about it one way or another, really for the entire world?
His mom doesn't really care for him.
I'm sure it's really hard on them. They're living in an undisclosed location because...
Yeah, he says, I'm sure it's really hard on them. They don't want to, his mom doesn't care. They're trying to stay as far away from it as possible. This is said by David Hancock.
There were people harassing them, and it's crazy. People just... It's one thing for people to come out and attack me and harass me, but it's another thing for people to come out and harass people that have nothing to do with the situation, and it's just frustrating.
I don't know what your current relationship status is, and forgive me if this is too personal, but I have to ask, what's trying to date like for you? Being, obviously a public figure, and your name is in the spotlight. I imagine that is also not easy.
No, well, I'm not dating anybody. Dating life is very difficult, as you can imagine.
And I don't think it's based on your court case, dude. I think you would be struggling with that regardless. Are we surprised? No. Jeez. No, I'm sure some crazy chick out there, some crazy bird will like those chubby cheeks, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll find someone.
I have to ask, because I'm curious, take me into that a little bit. Give me some more information if you're comfortable, because I think my audience would be really interested in that.
Well, I'm not really worried about dating right now. I'm just worried about getting over these civil lawsuits and growing in my career.
He does. He needs to get a PhD at Hustler University. Or at Tate University. One good course in that, and I think he's got... In fact, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. That'd be funny. That would be a chaos of, craziness that I would actually be here for the content. I would enjoy that content. If he started, promoting Andrew Tate and, going to Hustlers University and having, a pimps and hoes degree. A pimp and hoes degree.
Well, you're 21 years old. You're a young man. You've got to be thinking about your future. I mean, I would assume at some point you want to be in a relationship. You want to get married.
No, because he's way too obsessed with guns, okay? Because at night, he strips down naked and he lays down in a passionate night with his gun, okay? This is why there will never be room for a woman in his life. Man rubs his ball sack on guns at night, I'm sure.
You want to have a family. What does that even look like for you? How do you even go about that? Because I can't imagine what it's like for you to try to meet people. I know, back in my day, it was hard enough for me, and I really don't have nearly the controversy that you've had to deal with.
Lady, I'm sure you've been around. Okay. I'm not saying it's shameful. I'm not saying it. But I'm pretty fucking sure, just looking at you, you got around. Just admit it. We'll all support you in the end.
I'm not really focused on dating right now. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm just looking to grow my career in the next couple of years, and then I can focus on that later.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fair enough. I won't press you anymore on that. I have a feeling that Kyle Rittenhouse as the next Bachelor probably isn't going to come to fruition anytime soon. But boy, that would be interesting. I want to talk about what actually happened in the summer of 2020 and what the media to this day is still purposely getting wrong about that night and what happened to you. I know you've probably covered this a lot, but for my audience, they want to hear it from you. What is everybody still getting wrong, whether willfully or otherwise?
Well, one of the biggest misconceptions that people have is that I shot black people, and none of the people who attacked me and that I shot were black.
You went there to shoot black people. We all know that was your motivation.
And that's just the truth. And people think I'm a white supremacist or a vigilante, and it's frustrating. And I see all of these lies constantly. There's so many of them. And I just have learned to ignore it in a way and just not really pay attention to the news cycle.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, it's also interesting to me. We talk about, and you've been really the poster child for the left to talk about vigilantism and how, what you did was so wrong and you should have never been there and you should have never been trying to help. There's a lot of discussion about that. But in the climate that we sit even today, even though we're not in the summer of rioting and love 2020 anymore, we are still in an environment where there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of bad people out there. In New York City, it's maybe the epicenter of all of that. You've got people pushing people into subway tracks. You've got, random acts of violence, women getting punched on the streets. And then you've got people like yourself that maybe want to stand up for people, maybe want to do the...
Have you all heard about that situation, that face punching phenomena that's been happening in New York City, where there's been several cases of some guy or a few different guys just walking up to random women who least expect it and decking him in the fucking face as hard as they can. It's absolutely atrocious. It's fucking weird.
The right thing, and they're scared to death to do it because they don't want to be the next Kyle Rittenhouse. What do you say to those people?
Well, we all have the right to self-defense. I think everybody should own firearms and be able to protect themselves. I see all these women being violently attacked in New York and then around college campuses, and it makes me upset. It makes me sick to my stomach to think about, because the government, the colleges, the mayor, the president, they're all failing to protect these people. Because we have at these college campuses, I talk about this in my speech a lot, we have these blue boxes set up around campuses that have a call button to call the police, but that's not quick enough when some grown man who is 150 pounds, 200 pounds heavier than you is trying to kidnap you or kill you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that the fact that you're going onto these college campuses is super important. And I know that that's been, kind of a passion project for you, not only talking about gun rights, but just showing up on college campuses. I've been to a number of college campuses. They don't like me there. They've tried to run me out. And I was at University of New Mexico. I don't recommend there. And they
was it worse than Memphis?
Well, I don't know. Was the SWAT team called for you, Kyle? I would imagine yours was pretty bad.
I think you won. Yeah. I didn't get the SWAT team.
Yeah, no, I had the SWAT team have to come to that situation. But, I'm wondering your thoughts on that.
A couple of losers here, coping really hard that they got fucking, run off of campuses. Are you kidding me? Why don't you just take the hint that educated people don't fucking like you? They can see through your bullshit. Why would you go to that?
And conservatives showing up on college campuses. Do you think that there are more people than the media would like to believe that actually do want to come and listen to you, that actually have an open mind about you? And what's your experience been with those people?
Absolutely. There have been people who have wanted to come and legitimately hear me talk. They may not like me. They may want to debate me, and that's fine. I enjoy that. I enjoy people coming and asking tough questions about what they disagree on and clearing things up.
Yeah, no, I think that that's super important. And I'm wondering, too, are you even able to get through a speech? Or do they run you out before you really even get a chance? I mean, I know the University of Memphis, they said that they ran you out. You said that that's not necessarily the case. But, you know, how do you confront that where you can't even really deliver your message because there's so much anger and violence and protesting and rioting that can you even get out your message?
It depends. So here's how I run things. So I will speak for about 15 minutes, then do a 15-minute Q&A, and then sometimes a meet and greet. But if they don't let me speak, I'll speak for the first 2 minutes, and then I'll just do a 30-minute Q&A and say, all right, we're going to roll into a Q&A, and we'll just talk about it.
And are you even able to take questions?
Sometimes. It ends up just turning into a yelling battle between me and a raging liberal, and they end up storming out or crying.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't end up storming out and crying. You fucking little shithead. You little shit. You little lying jackass. The only person who's running off and crying is you. I know for a fact this motherfucker is crying. He looks like he's about to cry right now.
Yeah, been there, done that. My last question for you is just looking back. Hindsight is always 2020. Interesting because it was 2020. But I'm wondering, would you change anything about what happened that night? And do you think that it was your destiny to be where you were and to have what happened to you happen to you?
Well, with hindsight being 2020 as it is, if I would have known I would have been violently and viciously attacked, put on trial for defending myself and facing life in prison, I wouldn't have gone there. I would have stayed at home, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I defended myself.
Right. No, and I think that there's a lot of people who see what's happening in our country, as I mentioned before, and they want to protect.
Where was those thoughts to begin with? Where was that sense of reasoning, like, to begin with? Like, I mean, the kid obviously had no conceptualization of, like, responsibility and consequences, right, of actions. It's like, yeah, now he can look back and say that, but, like, he didn't have that to begin with.
Defend themselves. You know, they want to be able to feel confident in those situations. But unfortunately, with the way the justice system is, they might not all, you know, get the treatment that you got and be acquitted on all those charges for just rightfully defending yourself. Kyle, you know, I think it takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing. I think it takes a lot of courage to go to college campuses. I think we need more people that are willing to do it, you know, despite the protests and the backlash and all the hate and vitriol that you get. So I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And I want to thank you also for being so brave and so passionate in what you do and not letting the haters deter you from your message.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Talk to you soon, Kyle.
Wow.
All right, folks, that does it for this special episode of Tomi Lahren is Fearless. Please catch me tonight on Waters Primetime, live from New York City, and tomorrow on Outnumbered at noon Eastern on Fox News. Until then, from Nashville.
That was the saddest cope session I've ever seen. And literally all of it was a lie. I mean, like, liberals aren't running and crying from those college visits. Like, that's not what's happening at all. Oh my fuck. There's not really a neo-Genian stance on guns per se, like, except for I don't think, as far as the neo-Genian system is concerned, that guns have any sort of, like, purpose telecratically, you know, like, there's just really no point to, like, have them in the grand, like, vision of, like, where we want the human race to go. That's what I think is, like, but I have never seen anything explicitly said. I definitely have my own personal opinions on guns, which are in no relation to the neo-Genian system at all. I shoot guns. I don't, you know, it's an activity I enjoy, but it's like I don't really have thoughts about having something for self-defense. I mean, except for just like in theory, but never like any serious plans for self-defense. Like it's just kind of like you go out and shoot tin cans and stuff. Like, you know, I could see guns for like farmers and people with like ranches and like lots of property, things like that. But you know, they're really, in the long run, there's really no teleological purpose for having guns. There really isn't. But you know, that's such a weird, like, nuanced conversation, and the last thing I want to do is to like get into like a gun issue or conversation about guns themselves. They're just kind of there, right? Don't be a dickhead with them, and they're not everything. Wasn't there the last... Oh, yeah. I remember this came up.
She got her ass punched. Now she want to be outside.
This was like back in 2017. This is actual footage of Kyle Rittenhouse back in 2017, where I can't really like show it like too much, but like Kyle Rittenhouse was with some other guys. Like he's like right there. And there's like straight up footage of Kyle. He's behind this guy in the white t-shirt. Like straight up like punching a girl. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's like back there. Let's see, what is this? There's Kyle there with his fucking shorts and stuff. And there's like this lady here. And I believe he ends up like punching her out. Like there he is in his shorts, like right here with his little slides, like helping like punch this chick out. So I mean, he was a violent piece of shit before like any of this else came out. David Hancock says Kyle doesn't have a single college credit. No wonder he can't tell the difference between college kids and Antifa. Another angle of smug Kyle like running off the campus. Where was the first one? I think it's this here. Kent State, warm welcome. But it's Kyle Rittenhouse filming this himself, by the way, if you're trying to find him.
Thank you guys, you've been a wonderful crowd. Wonderful crowd. Thank you. All right, moving. Thank you guys. Wonderful crowd. Wonderful crowd. Very peaceful.
No, I haven't shown this clip. This is different, Liz. We saw another school. This is a different school.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a completely different clip. The other one was at, like, Memphis. Yeah, completely different clip, dear. That's pretty much it, though. What time is it? We've only been streaming for 2 hours. Shit. I'm so hungry, though. I'm, like, ready for dinner. I think we're just gonna call it there. Oh, wait. No, wait. There was, like, Trump sleeping. Did you all see that? Trump sleeping. So now, because he always has his like Sleepy Joe thing, so now everybody's like, you're just straight up falling asleep at your own trial. And what I heard from like sources is he was ripping ass too. Not only was he falling asleep during court, he was fucking farting with stinky fucking farts. Sleeping. Can I put and farting? Wait, is it this? That I saw earlier this morning? Yes. Dude, this was hilarious to listen to this
Court
morning.
proceedings as well. Maggie Haberman reports that Donald Trump continued to fall asleep during the proceedings as well. And, you know, what I'm hearing from my sources as well is that, you know, and I'm hearing from credible sources who know what's going on in the courtroom. And what I'm hearing is that, take it for what it's worth, but that Donald Trump is actually farting in the courtroom, and that it's very stinky around him. It's a putrid odor in the courtroom, and that Trump's lawyers are like repulsed by the scent and the smell. And I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, funny. I'm actually, you know, we have good sources there, and I'm hearing it from actual credible people.
I mean, he almost seems reluctant to share it.
He is actually passing gas, and that his lawyers are really struggling with the smell. I think you'll actually start to hear more of that, but again, from real credible sources. Now, take it for what it's worth. They may be going off the record, on background and telling me that because of, you know, it's the Midas touch, and they think that we want to hear that. So you could judge it how you want to judge it.
Mark, that would be hilarious. Like, what if he, like, woke himself up during, like, sleeping, like, his little nappy poo, and it's just like, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't know. I don't have any room to talk, though, because I've totally woken myself up from a dead sleep, like, farting. Has anybody else done that? I bring that up, and people are like, what? No. Or, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, I have once or twice, maybe a few times. I've woken myself up farting. Confused as fuck. Okay, it happens to the best of us, alright? Man, my hair is looking, like, awful today. I don't know what's going on. I don't like anything about it. None of this. None of this is good. I should get off the camera immediately. A dog scare itself awake while farting. Hilarious. Yeah, we got Sleepy Dawn. Sleepy Dawn is sleeping. You've woken yourself up snoring? Wait a minute. I love it when people are like, they leave and then they come back like, weren't you an ass? Anyways. So, like, weren't you an asshole a while ago? Now you're just like randomly coming back in. Odd. Well, my friends, it's good to see you. I will be taking my leave now. I am so interested in making dinner right now. I haven't eaten since breakfast this morning, which was like around noon. And it's now almost 9. Oh, fuck yeah. I might even, like, I don't know, go pick up something from the grocery store. I don't know if I feel like cooking anything. But, as usual, it is good to see everybody. And I will not be streaming tomorrow, because tomorrow the Neogenian Oculus will be going live, I believe. So, that will be that. I won't be on the Neogenian Oculus, but I'll be in the chat moderating. So, if you would like to join me then, please do. Thank you for coming. Good to see you, Specs, Liz Leaf. Mark, thank you to our moderators, Mark and Cassie, for keeping our chat cool. And yeah, until next time, y'all, I shall see you later. All right? We'll see ya. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Bye. Mwah.